Yeah, let's start with those because no Harry Kane training this morning and no Jack Grealish either. I'm going to get Jamie, my cameraman, to spin around because the players came out just a couple of minutes ago in the light drizzle here at St George's Park this morning. But Harry Kane missing again today. He missed training yesterday and he'll continue to follow his own individual fitness programme, having picked up that knock at the weekend playing for Bayern Munich against Eintracht Frankfurt. It means that he's very, very unlikely now to feature from the start against Greece at Wembley tomorrow night. And Jack Grealish is also missing today. He picked up a minor knock yesterday in training. He did train yesterday with the rest of the players, but he'll sit out today, and that is purely as a precaution, but that would also make him a doubt for tomorrow night. But we would expect him to be available for the game with Finland on Sunday. So, yeah, a couple of high-profile absentees for England, but so much strength in depth in this squad that it actually might make Lee Carsley's job slightly easier when it comes to picking a side for the game against Greece tomorrow.
Yeah, and a couple of players have been added to the squad. We've just seen a few seconds ago, one of them going through their warm-ups.
Yeah, England have added two players to the squad, Curtis Jones and Tino Livramento, who were both in the squad last month, and both players arrived here last night. Lee Carsley initially named a 25-man squad, but Ezri Konsa, Kobe Mainu and Morgan Gibbs-White all withdrew after picking up knocks over the weekend, and with Jack Grealish sitting out training today as a precaution and Harry Kane missing training yesterday and today, I think it does make sense for Lee Carsley just to add a couple of bodies to the squad. It just gives him an extra couple of options ahead of these two games over the course of the next few days.
Right, let's get on to Cole Palmer, shall we? Named England's Player of the Year, which is voted for by the fans. Given his form for Chelsea, is he now first choice on the team sheet?
Well, it's interesting this because he's England's man of the moment, but oddly, he's not yet a regular starter for England. We know that he scored 6 goals in 7 league games so far this season for his club. 4 of those came in a stunning first-half display against Brighton. He's also provided 5 assists. As you mentioned there, he's been voted the England's Men Player of the Year by the England fans. That's despite just 2 of his 9 caps coming as a starter. And he does join quite an illustrious list of previous winners, including the likes of Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka, Ashley Cole, who's on the coaching staff, of course, with England now, and he's out there this morning, Wayne Rooney and Steven Gerrard. He's a player that the fans can really relate to. He features in advertising campaigns these days. He's also hugely popular, his content on social media, but it is a question that Lee Carsley will have to find an answer to. How does he get him into his starting lineup? He's England's Player of the Year without even being a regular starter, but many now regard him as the best player in the Premier League, certainly on current form. At the Euros, he didn't start any of the games. In fact, he played just 144 minutes across the 5 games, but he did make a huge impact from the bench, including that crucial goal against the Netherlands. He's a player that Lee Carsley knows very well from the under-21. So I think one of the most intriguing elements of this double-header is how Lee Carsley will use him. Now, we spoke to Noni Madueke, his Chelsea teammate, yesterday, and it was almost quite amusing, the press conference, because he was asked numerous questions about Cole Palmer, and he says the sky's the limit for him, but the first thing he has to do is to cement his place in the England team, and this week could be the first steps for him in achieving just that.
Yeah, it's fascinating to watch them out there, isn't it? Yeah, you mentioned this selection dilemma for Lee Carsley. It'll be mainly in those forward areas, the likes of Phil Foden, Anthony Gordon, Jack Grealish not training today, all vying for a spot in the team. How does he work this one out?
Not easy. It was a problem that Gareth Southgate had as well, a welcome problem, but I guess as an England manager, it's the one thing that you get criticised for the most when you've got really talented attacking players and you can't find a place for them in the team. It does leave you open to criticism, especially if the team are not performing well. But Phil Foden is back for this England camp, and he was missing for the last one. He's starting to find his rhythm again after a slow start to the season, having come back for the Euros and picked up a knock. Cole Palmer, obviously, we've talked about already. Anthony Gordon Did well in the games last month. He's a player that Lee Carsley likes. He does have balance on the left-hand side. Then you've got Saka. Noni Madueke was really interesting to chat to him yesterday, clearly relishing the opportunity to feature in this England group. And I think he believes that he can cement his place within the group as well. No lack of self-belief from him. And of course, Jude Bellingham's back in this camp as well. And during the summer, he was used further forward at times. And it's now a case of whether he drops back, and that might allow Lee Carsley to fit some of the other players in. So, yeah, there are some issues he has to solve. The fact that Jack Grealish isn't training today and might miss the game tomorrow night might make it slightly easier for him, because he started the 2 games in the previous international window and actually did really well in that number 10 position. So it's a lot of options for Lee Carsley, and we'll see if he rotates over the 2 games so that he gets to look at everybody in the different positions, or whether he's got something in mind and wants to really work on it and really find a solution, a long-term solution for England to getting all these attacking players into his starting 11. But he's been pretty clear about this. He says it's not necessarily about just the positions that players play, and it's about balance and players who complement each other and getting their attributes onto the field in the right areas.
It's crucial, obviously, to get a result against Greece, but also, as far as Lee Carsley and his future is concerned, how important is it to put in an impressive performance?
Look, I think Lee Carsley's in a really strong position at the moment. What is interesting when you're around the England squad is that there is a real connection between Carsley and a lot of the younger players. When you speak to them, a lot of them know him very well from the age groups, from the under-21s. A lot of them have a great belief in him as a coach. So he's clearly a head coach that connects with the players, that they have belief in. He's won things already, we know, with England. I think there are elements of this job which he'll have to adapt to and adjust to, and he's already doing that. But he knows, as much as everyone else, that when you're head coach of England, it is all about results. At the moment, it's looking very positive for him, but the next 2 games will be crucial. If he can get a win against Greece, which is probably the toughest game that England have had so far. They've won their first 2 games in the Nations League. If he can get a win against them tomorrow night at Wembley, and then a win against Finland, and if England can play with the style and also find a way of accommodating all these attacking players into his lineup, then I think he'll be in a really, really good position moving forward. But he's learning about the job. England are learning about him. And yeah, the next week or so will be crucial for him, but he's very much focused. We can see him out there on the training pitch, which is where I think he's happiest. He was the first one out here when we arrived yesterday, setting up the pitch for the players so that everything was ready for training. So he's very hands-on, and yeah, clearly the players have got a lot of respect for him, and I think they all want to do well for him and to make it a successful camp.